Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today in Europe. I'm Stephen Carroll and we're joined by Bloomberg's breaking news editor, Louise Moon. Louise, good morning. Let's start in Switzerland with UBS, shares up 4.3%.
Indeed, yeah, a 17-year high this morning. So this is on the back of big news in Switzerland that lawmakers are proposing watering down capital demands that the government wants to impose on UBS. So there was quite a kind of a host of recommendations, but the main one being that it would potentially allow UBS to use a kind of junior debt, so it's known as AT1 bonds, instead of equity to meet these capital demands. So if this all went ahead and went through, then that could potentially end what's been quite a standoff between the government, from the government to tighten these rules on UBS. And it's also faced a lot of criticism in the Parliament. So they were first kind of started to be discussed last year, and since then, so throughout that whole time, they've kind of clouded UBS's share price. The bank has indicated that if it went ahead, they might need to reduce investor payments, investor payouts. So it's really been quite weighing down on their shares. And these potential proposals are being seen as, or they're being welcomed by the market. As you can see from the share price is jumping. One analyst was saying, it could point to future voting behaviour in the Parliament. And so it's been taken as quite good news. So we'll have to keep an eye to see if this actually does go through. But yeah, very much being welcomed, and UBS shares reacting on the back of that.
Yeah, really interesting one to watch in Switzerland. We'll go to Germany next. Lufthansa shares also outperforming. They're up 5.5%.
Indeed. So an analyst has raised them to a buy. They don't have, if you look at their all the analyst holdings, they only have 5 buys, including this latest one, 15 holds and 4 sells. So shares are reacting positively. They're up this on the back of this news this morning. They're now back at levels last seen in kind of early 2024. So essentially, this analyst is saying that there's been a change in global travels, becoming a luxury category with premiumization at its core. So they're shifting more towards the type of operators that have exposure to that premium, international, long haul, and particularly in places where demand is high but supply is quite constrained. So they see Lufthansa as attractive on the back of that. Lufthansa has been stepping up their push towards premiumization, and they recently said that that's starting to kind of make progress and have quite a lot of impact. So being upgraded on the back of that, they did also note that there are still some challenges for Lufthansa to contend with. So there's pressure from unions, there's a lot of competition in the Middle East, and so on. But they've raised it to a buy on the back of that change in global travel, and that's lifting shares this morning.
Okay, and the question of the day, Louise, do you send Christmas cards?
I love Christmas cards. I've been sending them out already.
Are you just one of those people who just receives them?
No. I've been writing away, sending them out. You've got to keep the traditions alive.
True, but are you bucking a trend if we're looking at what's coming out of Card Factory this morning?
Well, it seems as though I am. We need to get Christmas cards back in everyone's agenda. Yeah, Card Factory shares are absolutely plummeting. It's quite remarkable if you look at their share price graph. Down 27% this morning, the lowest since 2022. That's after they cut their guidance this morning. So they're now expecting maximum up to £60 million in pre-tax profit next year. They had expected growth from their so last year they achieved 66 million. They had expected growth from that, now expecting maximum 60 million. So quite a cut from them. And what they're really citing is the lack of consumer confidence in the UK. They say that their UK stores are performing worse than expected, and they pointed to other businesses, Ireland, North America, being fine. So analysts saying this is quite a shock warning that surprises in scale. So it seems more people need to be sending Christmas cards to keep Card Factory alive.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.